The story of Chernobyl, a name that echoes through history, begins in Pripyat. Pripyat was more than just a city. It was a symbol, meticulously built for the workers and families connected to the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. It stood as a shining example of Soviet progress, a testament to their ambition and technological prowess. The city was vibrant and full of life, teeming with young families who looked forward to a bright future. Parks buzzed with laughter, and schools echoed with the sound of children learning and growing. All of this thrived under the seemingly safe promise of clean nuclear energy, a source of pride for the Soviet Union. But on April 26, 1986, that promise shattered into a million pieces, irrevocably changing the course of history. In the dead of night, in the early hours of the morning, Reactor number 4 experienced a catastrophic failure and exploded, unleashing a radioactive cloud that would spread its invisible poison across the land, contaminating it for generations to come. The RBMK-1000 reactor, a design unique to the Soviet Union, was at the heart of this disaster. It was a powerful machine, capable of generating vast amounts of energy, but it was also dangerously flawed. This critical fact, however, was deliberately hidden from the plant's operators, who were kept in the dark about the true risks they faced. A pervasive culture of secrecy, coupled with a dangerous level of misplaced confidence in the technology, tragically set the stage for the unimaginable disaster that was about to unfold. Pripyat's 50,000 residents, completely unaware of the impending doom, were living their lives just a few short kilometers from the volatile plant. They had absolutely no idea of the invisible, deadly risks that surrounded them. But that fateful night, their world, as they knew it, changed forever in the most devastating way imaginable. The force of the explosion ripped open the reactor's core, tearing through steel and concrete, violently sending plumes of radioactive material high into the atmosphere, to be carried by the wind across Europe. Pripyat, once a pristine model city, a symbol of Soviet achievement, would soon be transformed into a silent, haunting ghost town, frozen in time. The alluring nuclear dream, once filled with so much promise, had been twisted into a horrifying nightmare, leaving a scar on the world. The tragic legacy of that night, the night of April 26, 1986, continues to haunt our world, serving as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the importance of transparency. The disaster's trigger was a safety test gone wrong. The test, meant to improve safety, was delayed to the night shift, staffed by a less experienced team. Operators reduced the reactor's power too far, making it unstable. In a desperate attempt to recover, they withdrew too many control rods, disabling key safety systems. The RBMK's design flaw, graphite-tipped rods, meant reinserting them could cause a power surge. The operators, unaware of this, pressed on, violating protocols and disabling automatic shutdowns. They were under pressure to complete the test, not realizing they'd primed the reactor for disaster. The reactor was now a ticking bomb. The final steps of the test set off a chain reaction. Catastrophe was moments away. At 1:23 a.m., the test began. A fateful experiment about to go horribly wrong. As the turbine slowed, cooling water decreased, and steam bubbles formed in the core. The RBMK's positive void coefficient caused reactivity to spike dramatically. Operators hit the emergency shutdown, AZ-5, but the graphite-tipped rods triggered a massive power surge. The reactor's power soared to over 100 times normal. A colossal steam explosion blew the reactor apart, followed by a second, even larger blast. Burning graphite and radioactive debris shot into the night sky. The core was exposed, spewing radiation. Pripyat's night was lit by a deadly, unnatural fire. The world's worst nuclear disaster had begun. The explosions at Chernobyl triggered immediate chaos and disbelief. The scale of the disaster was initially incomprehensible. Plant workers and firefighters, the first on the scene, rushed in without hesitation, tragically unaware of the invisible, silent and lethal radiation permeating the air. They were stepping into a nightmare. Their dosimeters, designed to measure radiation levels, quickly maxed out, but many, in the confusion and lack of clear information, simply assumed the devices were broken or malfunctioning. Firefighters, lacking adequate protective gear for this unprecedented situation, fought the blaze with water hoses and standard techniques, treating it as if it were an ordinary fire. They trudged through radioactive debris, unknowingly absorbing massive doses of radiation, battling a fire that was silently and invisibly poisoning them from the inside out. Soon, they began to fall ill, experiencing violent vomiting, debilitating headaches, and a strange, unsettling metallic taste in their mouths, the unmistakable first signs of acute radiation syndrome, a terrifying and often fatal condition. Many died agonizing deaths within weeks, sacrificing themselves in a desperate attempt to prevent the fire from spreading further and causing even greater devastation. Inside the crippled plant, engineers and other personnel risked their lives, undertaking dangerous missions to avert further catastrophe and contain the damage. Their bravery was matched only by their lack of full understanding of the true insidious nature of the radiation hazard. The first responders unknowingly fought an invisible enemy they couldn't see, smell, or fully understand. Their ultimate sacrifice bought precious time, but it came at a terrible and irreversible cost. The morning after the explosion, Pripyat awoke to sunshine and silence, unaware of the invisible fallout. Life continued as normal, even as radiation rained down. Authorities delayed evacuation, downplaying the disaster. By Sunday, radiation levels were undeniable. The order to evacuate finally came. Residents were told to pack for 3 days, believing they'd return soon. Over 1,000 buses emptied the city in hours. Families left homes, pets, and possessions behind, never to return. Pripyat became a ghost city overnight. The evacuation was orderly but traumatic. Pets were left behind, later culled to prevent contamination. The promise of a temporary evacuation was a lie. The city was sealed, frozen in 1986. Chernobyl's health impact was immediate and enduring. Over 130 workers and firefighters suffered acute radiation syndrome, 28 died within months. The radioactive plume contaminated vast regions, exposing millions to increased cancer risk. Thyroid cancer rates soared among children, traced to radioactive iodine in milk. Thousands of cases were confirmed. The psychological toll was immense. The environment suffered too. Forests died, animals perished or mutated. Yet, in the absence of people, wildlife returned. Wolves, boar, and rare horses now roam the exclusion zone. But the land remains poisoned, radioactive for centuries. The exclusion zone is a paradox. Nature thriving atop invisible contamination. It's a living laboratory of resilience and tragedy. Chernobyl's legacy is both a warning and a mystery. The Chernobyl disaster forced the world to confront the immense risks associated with nuclear power. It served as a stark wake-up call, highlighting the potential for catastrophic consequences when safety protocols are compromised. The event also exposed the dangers of secrecy and the critical need for transparency in the face of such crises. The initial lack of information and open communication only exacerbated the situation. The disaster led to sweeping global reforms in reactor safety standards and operational procedures. A complete overhaul of safety measures was deemed necessary to prevent similar incidents from occurring in the future. And transparency in nuclear operations worldwide. International cooperation became paramount, fostering open dialogue and the sharing of best practices to enhance nuclear safety on a global scale. The ruined reactor was initially entombed in a hastily constructed concrete sarcophagus, a temporary solution to contain the immediate threat of radiation leakage. This was then superseded by the massive new safe confinement in 2016, a monumental engineering feat designed to provide a more secure and long-term containment solution. Pripyat, once a vibrant city, now stands as a haunting monument to the disaster, a chilling reminder of the human cost of the catastrophe. It is slowly being reclaimed by nature, with vegetation gradually enveloping the abandoned buildings and streets, a testament to nature's resilience. The exclusion zone, once forbidden, now draws tourists seeking a glimpse into the past, and scientists conducting research on the long-term effects of radiation. It serves as a site of memory, honoring the victims and heroes, and a unique laboratory for scientific research into the environmental impact of nuclear fallout. Dedicated workers still diligently monitor the site, ensuring the ongoing safety and stability of the containment structures. Their efforts are crucial in ensuring the long-term containment of the remaining radioactive materials. Chernobyl's story is a complex narrative, one of immense tragedy, extraordinary heroism displayed by those who risked their lives to mitigate the disaster, and the unexpected environmental paradox of nature thriving in the absence of human interference. It serves as a stark reminder: that nuclear accidents are not confined by geographical boundaries and know no borders, impacting communities far beyond the immediate vicinity. The silent city of Pripyat and the imposing steel arch of the new safe confinement stand as a perpetual warning of the devastating cost of human error and negligence. The invaluable lessons learned from Chernobyl were paid for dearly, with immense suffering and sacrifice. We must never forget the events that unfolded on that fateful night, ensuring that such a tragedy is never repeated.